Okay, you're on.
Fantastic. Again, want to thank everybody for zooming in to our task force meeting today. Want to welcome everyone, and I want to take a moment and just call the meeting to order. To do it, let's do a roll call. Uh, please say present or here when I call your name. Angela. Okay. Ari. Okay. Aya.
Present.
Aya. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
Oh, great. Cobra.
Present.
Okay. David.
Present.
Okay. Doc is here. Liz.
Yes, sir.
All right. Hayden. Okay. Uh Joycelyn. Did I pronounce that correctly? Jocelyn.
Jocelyn.
That's right. Jocelyn?
No, she's at her concert tonight.
Oh, okay. All right. Uh John.
Present.
Kay.
Present.
Brittany.
Present.
Sabrina.
Present.
Sandra.
Present.
Fantastic. Again, now do we still have a quorum?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. I want to again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I just want to read a statement I prepared just for a moment. Because it was brought to my attention, and I love being transparent. I think it's very important. It was brought to my attention that after our last meeting, there actually were some Twitter attacks on the town Twitter feed directed towards me, and that's unfortunate. But I just want to read this statement, and then we'll just move on. It was brought to my attention that there were a number of personal attacks directed towards me on the town Twitter feed. These attacks were undoubtedly part of the effort to circumvent the leadership structure that I spoke out against. These attacks are miscalculated for two reasons. First, the good people of Niskayuna can see through these petty political attacks. If they persist, I am certain that the good people of Niskayuna will pull those who prefer to work in the dark into the sanitizing light. Finally, these petty political attacks are not progressive for Niskayuna. They're also not progressive for Schenectady. The second reason these attacks are a miscalculation is because they mistake Doc for a politician. Doc is a community developer. This is my response to petty politics. I will be announcing after the first of the year that I will be leading a private group that will host a multicultural community event for the town of Niskayuna. This event will bring families of all races, ethnicities, and nationalities together so that we can celebrate and uplift each other. Details on the event will be provided at the time of the formal announcement. I will always strive to build people up. I will continue to work hard to ensure that everyone feels that Niskayuna is their home. So I want to thank you for indulging me for a moment. And so now I want to go on with the agenda. And there is the approval of the last minutes. Now I'm not certain how this particular platform works. I know with Zoom we could share a screen. Now I guess that's certainly possible here, but everyone did get the minutes, did they not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can we, if you take a minute and review those minutes, and then what we'll do is we'll hold a vote to accept those, if you would.
Doc.
Yes, sir.
There's a button down in the middle at the bottom of the screen that says "Present Now."
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can.
That will allow you to share your screen. And just for the record, the Twitter account that was attacking you has nothing to do with the town.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
It's not the town Twitter account.
Oh, okay. All right. I stand corrected. Okay.
I just felt like you should know that, I'm the one that controls the town Twitter account, and I would never attack you. So
You just made my day, guy. You just made my day. That's funny. Okay. Now you said there's, let's see now. It says present now. Your entire screen.
it should be right next to where you mute and you turn off the camera. It should be the next button to the right, and it looks like or it's 2 buttons to the right past that. It looks like a little square with like a tree in it. I want to say
An arrow. Yeah.
Oh, an arrow.
Okay.
Okay. Looks like a tree.
Okay,
It's a
let's
square
see.
with an arrow in it pointing up.
All right, let's see. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, let's see if I can. No, that's not gonna work. Okay, I tell you what I'll do. I'll pull up the agenda, and then I'll share the screen. What have I done yet, actually? I am the wrong guy. Okay. All right, now let's see what I can do. No. Yeah. Huh. I think I'm just too Zoom oriented. So John, do you have this? Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, pull it up.
Sure.
I'm just too used to Zoom.
All right.
This thing here.
1 minute.
Thanks. If you could take a moment and just, if you can see those, but if you already have the minutes, please review those. Just take a minute to do that. And then what we'll do is to, handle any questions or corrections, or we'll entertain a motion to accept it. Liz, you have a question?
Yeah, Doctor, I apologize because, see, when you started last meeting, you mentioned someone was having a conversation. See the paragraph. So can you explain that, because I missed that? I'm sorry to bring up too late.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Let me pull up my agenda so I can directly see what you're making reference to. Okay. Okay. So what specifically are you making reference to again? Help me out.
You said some of the people making some kind of comments within the group or something. I didn't get that. What are you
Oh, you're talking about just when I made my statement.
Yeah.
Oh, well, one of the members of the task force made me aware that there were some attacks directed towards me from based upon our last meeting. At the last meeting, I made some objections to what was an effort to basically bypass our usual usual leadership structure, and in essence, what seemed to be an attempt to either, I guess, politicize something when it easily could have been just brought up at our meeting. And so I had indicated that that action didn't engender trust, and it certainly undermined our efforts to work together. And so after that, our meetings are recorded. So after that, um, one of our members brought to my attention and forwarded to me a list of these attacks on Twitter, and it was clear that this was something that was clearly connected to the other event. And so I made my statements. I want to make sure that, to me, I believe that it's very important that we're transparent, and I place those attacks in a context. And I believe that the good people of Niskayuna will respond to that. And also, my own personal response is to work with a private group in the town, and we are bringing forward. We'll be announcing after the first of the year a major multicultural event for the town of Niskayuna, and certainly at that time, we will entertain people who might want to volunteer to assist in the effort. But it's going to be something to bring people together, and that's what I'm about: bringing people together, building trust, building institutions, building communities. And so that's what that statement was. I want to make sure that I believe in being transparent, so that's why I brought that forward, because I think everyone should know. But at the same time, uh, I'm not a politician, and petty local politics don't bother me. What's more important is it indicates that there is a greater need, an even greater need to work harder to bring people from all backgrounds together. And that's what I'm about. And I tell you, this is going to, when I announce this event, it's going to be not only a nice event, it's going to be something that I, along with this private group, plan to make an annual event. And so we're going to take a negative circumstance and actually turn it into a positive. Hopefully I
Thank you, sir.
answered. Sure. Okay. Any other questions, comments, or testimonials on the minutes? So can we entertain a motion? Oh, Liz, another question? Liz? You're on mute.
No question.
I would
No
motion
question.
that we vote to pass the minutes from last meeting, please.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Fantastic. We moved and properly seconded that we accept the minutes as presented for the last meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, fantastic. The record showed that it was unanimously passed. All right. Okay, let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get back to.
I'm sorry, do you want me to go back to the agenda, Doc?
Yes, okay, I got it. Okay, so the next agenda is a student internship update. Now, Ari is here, right?
Yes, I am here.
Fantastic. Just wanted you to give us an update on the student internship situation.
Well, I haven't really received any emails on regards to the internship student here in Niskayuna. So I was gonna try to get an appointment with you guys to see what are the next steps to take.
I see.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking to try to resubmit everything again to the channels of like the university. I haven't reached the university at all. At the graduate department, I haven't graduate student association. I haven't reached out to like Union College, which is local, or Schenectady College, to see if we can get some like also university students.
Mm-hmm.
But I also try to resubmit it again to Niskayuna High School to see what's going
Mm-hmm.
on there. So,
Well,
okay.
I know that certainly Jamie was working with you on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Uh, we discussed that in the leadership meeting, and we think that there's a need to perhaps to provide additional support and basically reinforce that committee here.
Mhm.
I was hoping that, and I don't want to put people on the spot, but I will. I was hoping that Sabrina, would you be interested in working on that particular project with Ari? And I was also hoping that that Cobra, is Cobra still up here?
Mhm.
Yep,
Would
I'm
you?
here.
Excellent. Would you also be willing to work with Ari on that? Because
Yes.
it's fantastic. So we reconstitute that, and because the reason why that's so important is that again, already the few interns that we've had have made some significant contributions
Mhm.
to our work. But most importantly, this is an excellent opportunity for these students, and not only in terms of networking, but just from the standpoint of actual professional experience. And finally, most importantly, it also is good public relations. Okay, and I can think of nothing that that's more uplifting, as well as reinforcing uh, the significance of what we do, uh, than providing opportunity for the youth to actually get involved. Okay, that's very important. So that's why we want to make sure uh, that we uh, reinforce that committee and to get it going.
Mhm.
Sabrina, you wanted to
Yeah. Are we keeping it strictly in Niskayuna, Schenectady County? Like, how far out?
we want it now. It's my understanding. I obviously we can throw this up to debate, but since this is a Niskayuna task force, we probably want to stick with Niskayuna. All right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Now, let's say, for instance, it could very well be. I could see also if there was a college student who lives in Niskayuna. Okay, I guess that certainly would be appropriate as well. But we want to make this an opportunity for Niskayuna residents and the Niskayuna youth. Okay, and without question, right? Without question, the youth of
There's
other areas are certainly in need of these opportunities too. But I think if we can focus on Niskayuna, I think that'll be the best way to go.
okay, and I'm totally down for that. But if there's no interest from Niskayuna, then do we branch out? Like, just so we have a idea of where to go.
I
Well,
think I'm sorry.
go
I
ahead.
Okay, so I think that the problem is that we didn't really publicize it that much.
Gotcha.
I think that probably put it in also in the Niskayuna community newspaper. It will be
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
So that it can reach a much higher audience. And like I said, resubmitting to the Niskayuna High School because now the students are like interested on the internship. Like the half of the year was very um, a little bit difficult and probably overwhelmed for many of the students. I taught at the university this semester, and they're coming back from COVID and all of that. So it was kind of like in an intense situation for students. So I think that resubmitting this and trying to be a little bit more flexible too. But I can share the documents with Cobra and you, Sabrina, and make
Sure.
it an appointment and try to take it from there and see better channels, like the career opportunities at the colleges, local colleges that are from here, and then making sure that these students live in Vizcayuna.
Well, I was also thinking our social networks, right? That's usually our strongest point. And I know as a task force, we don't have a social media presence, but we're also not all connected social media wise, which I think could be helpful. Because I know, like, I can put it out on my feed and say, hey, parents, because I still have kids in the system.
Mhm.
Anybody interested? That type of thing.
Also,
I can include you
let me say
guys.
something. I wanted to respond also to something that Sabrina had noted. You know, I am a strong believer in terms of the law of probability.
Mm.
And the probability, if you really get out there, the probability that absolutely nobody will respond is very, very low. I believe that with the proper outreach, we'll get somebody. There'll be somebody who will want to take advantage. The law of probability just would dictate it. Now, whether or not that person, we would deem that person a good candidate, that's a different issue. But
Mhm.
but based upon the law of probability, the odds of us having zero interest is
It was a what
almost
if,
zero.
a what if question.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But I just wanted to kind of give you my perspective. I agree with it. It's good to have a what if question. Uh, I would say that, but if that scenario would happen, I would say maybe we need to rethink our outreach strategy.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
In January, I will be sending out a email blast. It'll be posted on the website and the Twitter account and the Facebook account of the town, committee openings and stuff like that. So I'll make sure I include your internship application link.
Okay. That's actually great.
Fantastic. Any other comments on the intern issue?
Doc, I think I am just looking at my notes, as part of the leadership team, we had discussed contributions of one particular intern that we wanted to really call out at today's meeting. I believe her name is Ashley. And John, correct me if I'm wrong. Her name is Ashley, and she was our intern during the summer. And she did a lot of great work with the police collaborative and public safety work group that we were working on. So just want to give a shout out to Ashley.
Thank you, Kay, for reminding me of that. Let's give Ashley a hand. She's not here, but maybe she'll see the tape. Thank you, Ashley. We really appreciate you, and we're proud of what you did. Fantastic. Thanks again, Kay. I tell you, sometimes this old memory of mine just got to be jogged. Great job. Okay, let's see. Let's get back to our agenda, shall we? Let's see now. The working group updates, public safety. So, John, you want to do a presentation or something, right?
I'll share my screen real quick if you don't mind. Just
go ahead. Go for it.
An aid. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, I'll go. Let me just go to the agenda real quick.
Sure.
And one thing I do is in the agenda, as you know, right? The agenda, then there's the meeting minutes, which we just voted on. So after that, in the agenda is a couple things from the public safety group. So this is the first slide. So this is something I talked about last time. I won't go through this again, but it was a little bit of a.
Any way you can make that a little bigger?
Let's see. Oh, maybe like that.
Okay, I guess that'll have to do.
Yeah, that's the best I got.
All right.
So I talked everyone through this last month, Doc. It's just a reminder that the police work, a lot of different moving parts. And if you can see my cursor, there were three documents that came out of this police reform work. The first one was the Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative Report. The second was a CNA Racial Audit. And then the third was a Police Reform and Reinvention Collaborative Plan, which was written by the town. The first two reports were written by, the Police Reform report was written by a group of Niskayuna residents and police, PBA, and town support. CNA Racial Audit was written by CNA, which is the external consulting group. So 3 pieces of paper, 3 documents that all fed and helped define the police reform work for Niskayuna as required by Executive Order 203. So in our last public safety meeting yesterday, Sabrina, Cobra, and Aya, thank you for joining the call. And we had a really nice discussion, I think, about each one of those 3 documents and how each of them includes requirements or mandates for the police reform work in Niskayuna. So let me share a different document now, and I'll show you what we're going to be doing in the future. Let's see it. Give me 1 minute here. Okay, try to share that again. All right, so there's can you see this okay, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
So there's the 1-pager. After that, in your meeting minutes, what we've done is included a first draft of the document that Sabrina, Cobra, and Aya have graciously volunteered to help work on for the next little while. And what it does is this document takes each of those 3 reports and builds a table, specifically a table that includes each and every requirement contained in the report. So you'll see here there's requirements from the implementation plan, that's table 1. Recommendations from the Police Reform Collaborative Report is table 2. And recommendations from the CNA Racial Audit Report is table 3. And then in the document, including the agenda, is each one of those tables. So table 1 is specific word for word requirements out of the town resolution and the actual implementation plan. So I'll scroll a little bit here, but you can see requirement 1, requirement 2. These are affirmative statements, affirmations, requirements in the implementation plan. And we're going to use this document as part of the Public Safety Working Group to track the progress and track the status of each of these requirements as the Police Reform Implementation Task Force, which is a separate group, as they actually are charged with implementing these recommendations. So we built this table so that it'll be easy for us to keep track of the specific requirements, in this case in the implementation plan. And as I scroll down, table 2, a much larger table, and actually this table has each and every recommendation from the Police Collaborative Report. You can see that, and I'll scroll because there's lots of them, 60 or more. And you can see it, so it's word for word of each requirement in these documents in the collaborative report. And then a little bit farther down, the third table is here's the third table, and this is word for word recommendations, requirements out of each of as identified by the CNA Racial Audit Report. So and this goes on for several pages as well. So each requirement, each recommendation we pulled out of these reports, put them in the table. And again, we're going to use this to track status and what the implementation task force plan is in the actual analysis and implementation of each one of these findings. So I just want to give you everyone that kind of update. And as I said, Sabrina, Cobra, and I have been were gracious enough and excited enough about this to kind of jump in with me. one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to put each of these findings into buckets or into categories so that we can organize our work as the workforce, because there's a lot of overlap, as you can imagine, between the collaborative work and the CNA audit report, for example. So we're in the process now of organizing the recommendations into buckets like training, like communication, like HR, hiring and firing and promotion, like use of force. Try and organize those recommendations into some sort of order, and then we can kind of parcel that work out and perform the tracking that we've been asked to do of the implementation of each of those recommendations. So that's a quick summary from our work group. And I see, David, you have your hand raised, so I'll stop.
Yes, thanks, John. I'm wondering, can you enlighten us as to how you're going about determining the budget impact and the time frame pieces that are at the bottom of every recommendation?
Yep, and actually that's a great question. So I don't know if I should bring up the document again, but yeah, in each one of the recommendations, we added a data element that says, yeah, I've lost it now. So the budget and the timing. So that is from the actual implementation plan. Mm-hmm. So the implementation plan states that the implementation task force, not us, but the police implementation task force, one of the requirements in the implementation plan is for that group to assign a budget impact and to assign an implementation time frame to each of the recommendations represented in the CNA audit and the collaborative report.
Okay.
So we went ahead and just added that as a placeholder, and I actually shared these tables with the implementation task force because I thought it might help them manage their work. But the intention of that field, and there's been discussion of other things maybe that the implementation task force wants to add, and that's for them to fill in. We have to be careful at this point. We're not doing the work, but we have been asked to track the progress of the work. So that's kind of where those two fields come from.
Thank you for explaining that. It makes good sense. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Any other questions or comments?
So what type of timetable is this working group predicting in terms of when they'll have the final report?
So you mean our work group?
Yes, your work.
So I expect this tracking to be ongoing for as long as the implementation task force is actually implementing some of these recommendations. So some of them are probably going to be quite long-term action items. And so we're just starting to think about what's the outcome of our work. And one thought, Doc, that came up yesterday was that maybe we have a section or attachment to the annual task force annual report that this group has to do, and maybe that's a place that we can include the annual status of the implementation task force progress.
Okay.
But I expect it'll go on for a while because it's intended to track progress, which I think will take a while.
I see. Okay. Any other questions for this working group?
Priti, I see your hands up.
Yes. Thank you. John, this is a lot of work. Very good, because I know a lot of people haven't read the reports. It's a lot to read. So this makes it easier for people to kind of see where it's going. I have though read the audit report, and I've read the community report and the synthesis report that the town put. And there were two areas I was curious about. One was, usually when you do first of all, with the audit report, I was very impressed with the police definition of community. It was one of the most open definitions I'd seen. Anybody they interact with, they defined as community. And I think 86% of the interactions were outside Niskayuna. So their community is the region. It's not just Niskayuna. So that was, for me, was very interesting. because they realized you have to work with a larger group rather than Niskayuna to make an impact. So based on that, there were two things that though I wished I had seen in the report, and I could have missed it. So let me know. One is, were there people who interacted with the police that were interviewed and got impact? And if not, is there any plans to kind of get their perspective? That was one question. Secondly, I know that since most of the interactions were outside of Niskayuna, the CNA report, audit report, basically said, oh, the police collaborates with the region. But since most of them, collaborations can be great or not so great. So I wondered if there were any way to kind of pull that out a little bit. How do we know that this is a quality collaboration? Because they talked a lot about talking with Niskayuna residents, but Niskayuna residents is a small part of their community. So I was just curious whether you saw any recommendations related to those two, and if not, what can the task force do to kind of make this a stronger implementation?
Okay, thank you, Priti. And before I um, make my comments, I do want to call out Ashley Arteta again. She did a lot of the heavy lifting on these tables, so a lot of it was our work, and she was great to do that. Priti, the short answer is that I was not involved in the CNA audit work at all. It was done by an outside firm. I know that they interviewed people in the town. I don't know if they interviewed people who had interactions with the police, either Niskayuna residents or otherwise. So the short answer is I wasn't part of that group. I was on the other group. But I know that both reports were very clear, and I think this is the second question and a very, very important one. Both reports were clear with recommendations that it has to be an ongoing process. There has to be community outreach. The implementation report itself actually says that they will conduct quarterly community outreach interactions and discussions. There's talks about facilitated sessions. There are literally 150 recommendations, and many of them, I would say, include communication, coordination in an ongoing kind of forum. So I think generally that is included in the report. I think our role is primarily making sure that they actually do those things so that they don't have a requirement for a quarterly outreach and then nobody actually goes back and double checks and it turns out that they're actually not being conducted quarterly. So our job is to make sure that it actually happens. Those are my thoughts, and I'll turn it over to Sabrina, I or Cobra for any other thoughts.
Yeah,
just
one.
But okay, I'm kind of sensitive. I know Liz had her hand raised.
Okay.
Yes.
At the same time. Go ahead.
Thank you, thank you, John. It's a nice summary. But I have the same question like Preeti. And also we can invite Ashley to give a report, and also Jillian help you with the too. Maybe we can we invite her too? But it's a community. Niskayuna community is a small community, So we are focusing on Niskayuna community, if I'm not mistaken. So is there any way you can make it a little more clearer or a little more safer conversation with our community to make it a little more progressive?
Yeah, no, and thank you for the reminder, Liz. You're right. Jillian also did a tremendous amount of work on this effort. Well, you know what I'm going to suggest, and Sabrina and Cobra, I'm looking at you now. How about if we promise to come back next month? We'll have a little bit more discussion about the actual meat of the recommendations, and we can look specifically for ones that involve community outreach, community involvement, interaction, stories from the interaction with police and things like that. How about that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed the yesterday's meeting, but just send me a reminder, please, because I working so many projects by alone. So I would like to get involved a little more with this group. Thank you.
All right. So now, Priti, do you have another comment briefly so that we can move on?
Yes, I think John kind of said he's going to follow up and look more deeper. That's what I was looking, because I want this group not to say, oh, check, done. I kind of want us to look at the quality and just not, okay, this action has been done. So I appreciate that, John. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent commentary. Um, just one last thought. Let's see now. That was that was the CNA report that was done. Is there now? Is that available on the town website or something to that effect?
Yes, I can send out a link because some of these reports are really big, Doc. I can send out a link to everybody. It has um, there's three reports. There's an implementation plan, the CNA report, and the collaborative report. And I can easily send out links to all three of those if that would be helpful.
I
But
think
yeah,
it would be.
they're available.
Because yes, it's interesting because I don't know if I mentioned anyone. I actually was one of the individuals that that organization interviewed when it came to looking at how the police dealt with uh, non-white citizens in the town. So yeah. So and of course it seemed that if I can recall from the report, I remember reading it, but it's been a little while. That it seems that although the black population in this community was a small fraction, they were like 10 times as represented among the police encounters, and it gave and most of these people seem to be coming from Schenectady. It gave the impression that the Niskayuna police were may have been actually using Schenectady citizens to make up some quotas. So we want to make sure we want to kind of look at. I want to review that myself so that we can have some more pointed questions, just as Pretty was suggesting. We want to make sure we want to make sure that we do look at the quality here because there are some very serious racial equity issues that were raised in that report. So again, definitely want to thank you again, John, Cobra, Sabrina, for your work on that report on your work.
I too.
And Aya, my bad, Aya, again. Okay, let's see now. Let's get back to our agenda here. Yes, community service, Liz
And David.
and David. Sorry, Liz and Dave.
So thanks, Doc. So
Sure.
I'm reporting that Town Attorney Paul Briggs and I have been communicating with each other since last meeting, and so we've got some answers rolling in regarding our questions about the Summer Youth Employment Program. So we've got some good figures to start with, and I'm thrilled about that. And as I've said the past few months meetings worth, that I'm looking forward to creating some sort of template with these questions that we can apply towards these other groups that are under the community service working group's purview, such as the Parks Department, the Senior Center, community programs, and such. And I just would like to say, again, thank you very much, Paul, for the responses, and hoping, would you welcome a phone call to kind of wrap this up so that we can keep moving forward? If you're agreeable to that, then we can hopefully get together maybe just after the holiday and have a phone conversation to finalize some of these questions. But we're off to a great start. So thank you very much, Paul.
Better late than never, right, Dave?
Absolutely. Glad to have it. Thank you.
Please call me.
I will do that. Thank you again very much.
Yes.
And secondly, our working group would welcome some other members. It's pretty much 4 of us, but if we could get a couple more folks to help divide the workload, that would be great. No pressure, because I know a lot of people are doing a lot of things across different working groups, but we would still welcome support from a couple other folks, 2 or 3 maybe, would be great. Thank you.
Yes, Sabrina has indicated that she definitely will provide some support there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. And I know Jocelyn was interested too, but I haven't seen her this month.
Let's see now.
Also,
Liz raised her hand.
yeah.
Liz?
Also, Sandra is interested, and Jocelyn is also interested. So maybe we can all join one day next after the holidays. We can have a little meeting together as a Zoom. Is it okay, Dave,
Yeah,
to
that would
have
be
this
that would
Zoom
be
meeting
great.
after the holidays? So then we can. I know Sabrina, you are very busy with all the other groups, and we are very slow and slow speaking people. So like Paul, so we are very slow. So we senior center, so we like your little brain to do.
Fantastic. Thanks, Liz. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's see now. I think the next group is the data and best practices group. So pretty anything to report there.
Yes, a very quick report. That's Ari and me. Um, we have, as you said, we are in our 100-day sprint. We are beginning to collect community stories. We practiced it among a small subgroup who's open to moving out in the community. And really, we want to get a sense of what our community views as community, what is their meaning, what they value, how they connect. So we ask basically 3 questions or 4 questions. I think I just added another one because we just talk for not more than half an hour. So, and I sent out an email to all the task force members. Please let us know if you can share a narrative with 3 narratives of the short narratives. And from the task force, Sabrina, Liz, John, Jocelyn, we've talked with them and had their narratives. And so please email me and then I can set up a meeting. We have like 17 neighborhoods in Niskayuna, we have 8 people so far interviewed, um, all from different neighborhoods, but we are looking for the very young Aya. We need contacts really young, the very older people, Spanish speaking Ari, just a diverse group so we know we're getting different perspectives. And it's interesting when people say connect, there are so many dimensions to connect. It's really amazing. So please connect. And the second thing I wanted to say is uh, in September, October, we had completed a self assessment, the Data and Best Practices group, and we shared our findings with you. And one of our recommendations was the task force do a self assessment. And we were the pilot. So we piloted, we shared our findings, and we recommended to the task force. The task force members also do a self assessment because it gives you a sense of where we need to work and where we are strong. And so I was wondering if you all would consider working on that self assessment so we kind of know areas we can work on together. So that was my question. And the other one was my update, and also kind of inviting you to let me know if you would share your narratives. You can email me or put it in the chat, and I'll follow up with you.
So now, pretty has the working group developed some type of template or instrument for
Yes.
for measuring this?
Yes, and we actually did it. We piloted it and shared it with you, so I can send it out again. It was,
Okay.
I think, at the September
I'm talking
October
about for the
meeting.
self-assessment.
Yes. So what we had actually suggested this in June, but it was towards the end of the year, last year. And
Okay.
so the suggestion from the task force was, why don't you pilot it and then we'll do it? So we piloted it in the data and best practices work group and shared what we learned from the pilot. And for our group, we're going to do it again next year. But for the task force, we've never really done it. And so,
Okay.
yes, I shared it with the group, but I'm willing to share it again.
Please do. Please do. And I don't know how anyone else feels, but I think more data is better than less. So if there's anything that can help us be more both efficient and effective, I personally am in favor of. So yeah, please get that out. And
Okay.
what we can do is uh, at our next meeting, uh, we can at least have a more detailed discussion
Mhm.
and have an official vote as to whether or not to actually do the self-assessment. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that is my report. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Sabrina.
Okay. Let's see here. Now, are there any additional topics that anyone would like to bring up, or is anything that should be brought on our to our attention that we might want to consider going forward?
Di,
Yes.
Sabrina raised her hand, and Sandra also.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, Sandra, I'll let you go first.
No, let's Sabrina had her hand up
Oh,
first.
Sabrina had her hand up first. Okay, Sabrina, it's
Thank
just
you.
yours is first on my screen. But sorry.
All
Go
good.
ahead. Go ahead, Sabrina.
Pretty, I know you had mentioned, looking for different language users for the assessment or the community engagement. But I also wanted to put it out there as a resource for anybody on the task force. If you should encounter different community members that use American Sign Language, please feel free to reach out to me, even in that moment. If we need to FaceTime or do whatever we need in that moment, I am happy to be that resource. Or if we want to figure out other ways we need to make interpreters available, I'm happy to be the point person for that type of access.
Thank you, Sabrina. Very gracious of you.
Thanks, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Okay, Sandra.
Okay, I just wanted to give an update and a thank you to everyone who made contributions to the Toys for Tots. We got quite a few items. We did take a picture, and I sent them to John. I just sent them. I had stuff going on. I was going to make a flyer and make it all elaborate, but I didn't. So, we took a picture on Sunday with 5 members, and Pretty was there because Pretty took the picture. And then Liz came on Monday, and we did that. And then we also, everyone who contributed to the Toys for Tots, almost all of them also contributed for the Adopt a Family. So I think that went well too. Kay, I think I send them to you if we want something on our website or our page. I'm not quite sure, but I know if we want that information out, it has to go through something. I'm assuming because your communication, it goes to you.
It goes to David.
It goes to David? Okay, David, I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, quite all right. Thank you.
And actually, you can even CC Seth, since Seth manages our page on the public website. So you can either send it to David and CC Seth, or vice versa.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Liz.
Thanks, Ken.
Liz has her hand. Thanks, Sandra.
Actually-
Liz, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, yes, Sandra, thank you for doing the both programs, and thank you for one more time. Thank you for donating for the adoptive family, and I'm pretty sure the family will be happy for these holidays. Thank you for wrapping all those things too. Thank you, Kate, to dropping off. Dave, Sandra, Preeti, Sabrina, who are donated, and Ori, and all those who are not a contributor, but we will put all your names, and we will hope you can join us next year. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you for those comments, Liz. Okay. Anything else? Or that anyone would like to bring up, or any issue or topic or expression?
When I get a chance, I'm going to be adding John so he can manage your guys' section of the website, which should allow you to get your agendas and other documents posted much faster.
Okay. I do have a question, Seth. I'm going to be using going forward. I'm going to be using a new email. Do I just send that to you?
Yes, you can do that, and I'll update it for the Google invites.
Okay.
As to your guys' chain emails, you're gonna have to, whoever does the reply all stuff is gonna have to add that.
What I'll do is I'll send out a email to everybody, letting everybody know what my new email is going to be. But nevertheless, but thanks. I just wanted to clarify that. Any other questions, comments, or testimonials before we call it a night?
No, thank
I just want to again, now that we have more folks up here, I just wanted to remind you guys that and invite you guys this Friday to Taj Mahal. I'm going to be doing my first solo engagement there. It'll be a dinner show. I typically perform with my band, but this time I'm doing something quite a bit different, and there's no charge. Just come on out for good food and some good music and a good relaxed time. Want to certainly invite you, and certainly I just want to say happy holidays. I know everybody doesn't necessarily celebrate Christmas, but I will say happy holidays. It'll certainly be after the first of the year, the next time we get together. And I think that this year has gone good, and I'm looking forward to 2022 being a better year. And so I want to thank everybody for being here tonight.
Hey, Doc.
Really appreciate your contribution. Yes, John.
I'm sorry, Sandra and Liz both have their hands raised.
Oh, I tell you, I'm just I really am showing my age here, huh? So who's up first?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
What time is it at Taj Mahal on Friday?
Say it again, please.
What time?
Oh, it's at you talking about my event? It's at 6 o'clock.
6 to 8.
6 to 8. Thank you.
That's on Clinton Avenue, right?
Oh no, they moved. He's on Eastern Avenue. He's in the basement of the Renaissance Hall. It used to be that beautiful Catholic church, and in that basement, I'm telling you, it's a huge spot.
Oh, okay.
Real nice. So come on out.
Can you share the address, because I don't know. I thought he was.
I will.
Okay.
Can you send us a flyer or send us something?
Yeah, I'm going to send that flyer.
Okay.
And again, I just want to thank you guys for even on the front end, if you come on out. We're just going to have a good time. Any other questions? I think who was the other? Sandra.
I did. All I was going to say is I wish all of you happy holidays and a great new year. I appreciate all of you, the work you do, the comments you make, and the contributions you make. And so we will see you in the new year.
And I have the same
Thank you,
too.
everyone.
Second that.
To
Yeah.
my committee, Dave, stepping forward for me, and Ori doing a great job with internship, and Kay, you are a good leader, and John, you are an awesome writer, and Preeti, you are an awesome orator, and Doc, I cannot wait for your class to take one, and Sandra, your enthusiasm for collecting and making us happy, and Jocelyn Cobra, who is the new people. God bless joining us, and thank you very much, and we will happy holidays.
Thank you, Liz. I tell you, I've got some warm fuzzies here. That was wonderful. Anyway, so listen, you guys take care. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Seth.
Doc,
Bye.
Doc, we need
Happy
to.
Bye,
holidays,
everybody.
everyone.
Oh, do we have to
Do
adjourn?
we have to motion to adjourn? I'm
Oh.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oops.
My
I'll
bad.
motion.
Okay, I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Keep forgetting
you.
we're being recorded.
Yes.
Good night,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody. Happy
Thank you.
holidays.
Good night.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays, everyone.